Howdy folks, Justin here. I used to do a video every month where I talked about the new monthly reward card. I kind of got out of that. I don't even remember why. But coming in June 2018 is a really exciting card that you get for finishing various places on the ladder. Rank 5, rank Legend or 1, or rank 8. You get copies of this card. And that card is Blackwood Distiller. Blackwood Distiller is a new scout card for Magicka 3/4, so a totally reasonable stat line there, with two abilities both revolving around having more Magicka than you're supposed to. You have Pilfer, gain 3 Magicka this turn, and you have Slay, gain +1 max Magicka. Now, one of the things I like about this card is that it takes aspects of two cards that have seen play, but aren't quite good enough, two other 4-drops, and honestly improves upon both of them. Torval Crook is a 1/4 with charge. Pilfer, gain 2 Magicka this turn for 4. It sees play in Miracle Monk, basically, is the only deck this card sees play in. That's the deck with Master Thieves, Thieves' Den, and Torval Crooks. You can generate, I think the most I got was 18 Magicka on turn 4 or 5. So that's the thing you can do with this. This is less explosive because it doesn't have charge, the new card, but it's still kind of a cool callback to that card. And then we also have, appropriately enough, an endurance card in Archie and Venom Tongue with the Slay ability on the Blackwood Distiller being identical. The lethal and Venom Tongue has always been kind of why you play it, but it dying to execute is one of the most feel-bad moments you can have in this game, so Blackwood Distiller not dying to execute is pretty good. So let's look at the pros of running Blackwood Distiller. The meta is full of small creatures, thanks to Tully's conscription being omnipresent, that you can kill with Blackwood Distiller. That gains you max Magicka. It's a 4-drop, which is not a particularly strong slot in scout decks. Any deck that used to run Moonlight Werebat after it got nerfed, in some builds, is a deck that might take a look at a card like Blackwood Distiller. So yeah, it trades pretty favorably with cards that come down before it. Not everything, obviously, but a lot of stuff. If you have the Ring of Magicka and you get this out turn 3 and you still have a charge left, you go into turn 4, 4 base Magicka, 3 more from Pilfering, 1 ring charge. That's 8 Magicka on turn 4, which is completely insane. That's a lot of Magicka. That's an Eclipse Baroness. That is Ancano in Telvanni. What I like about Blackwood Distiller too is what I like about the best cards, the best monthly reward cards, which is that they don't fit nicely into existing archetypes. They encourage you to try something new. So what would you do with a Blackwood Distiller? Well, a couple things. You can put it in a deck that has a plan of beating down the opponent relatively quickly, right? Like Venom Tongue is pretty obviously a cute combo kind of card and a ramp card. Blackwood Distiller with 3 power can be used to grind out an opponent in a mid-range matchup, where it's also going to do some pretty good work by allowing you to access bigger tools faster than your opponent's going to be able to as they try to curve out with a mid-range deck. Bleak Coast Troll, by the way, being on this page as I talk about 4-drops with good stats is something I'm aware of, right? But the thing about Blackwood Distiller that gives me pause, of course, is that, you know, the thing you always wanted to do with ramp, or at least for a long time, was play Histgrove. I mean, since September 2016, actually, which it says right there. Histgrove is a really powerful card still, but it's not good enough anymore. Which isn't to say that it's not in some decks and it doesn't win some games. It's not tier 1 material right now. So what else are you going to do with your 8 Magicka on turn 4? In best case scenario, Magical Fantasyland, but it's not that unrealistic. Let's assume Scout to increase the chances of you actually having that. Things you can do if you have no ring charges left are Nahag Leave. Pureblood Elder, which says when you gain max Magicka, double the amount you gain. If you're really into ramping, that could be a thing you're trying to do. Alexia is not bad, of course. Lich's Ascension, obviously something you want to ramp into. Bone Colossus. Skeletal Dragon. Waves of the Fallen. If you wanted to build a new arc, if you wanted to make Waves of the Fallen playable, playing it on turn 4 in a lane full of crappy small creatures is one of the ways you can do that. So Waves of the Fallen is something to take a look at with that. In green, we have an old favorite of mine, Charos Reaper, another card that you used to see play but doesn't anymore, but more realistically. Nixox is a huge tempo swing. Lets you put something else out. We talked about Eclipse Baroness. Spider Daedra, if you're a certain type of memer. Gentleman Jim Stacy. There's a lot of pretty exciting stuff you can do. And this card's explosive ability to ramp needs to be seriously considered, because getting stuff out 1 turn earlier isn't usually game breaking. Getting things out 3 turns earlier can be devastating in the right deck. So you want to make sure that you're building around that pilfer ability. The slay ability is what it is, right? There are going to be times when you need to trade with this thing. Cool, you're not wasting its power by doing that. That's how you should feel about it. And if anything, this card is sort of like kind of idiot proof, right? Because you think, I need that 3 magic, I need that 3 magic, but like really what you need to do in that situation is probably to trade with your opponent's creatures. Blackwood Distiller says, hey, I'm still going to reward you for being responsible and playing for the board. It's really perfect, right? The short term, it's a great metaphor for the whole game. The short term viability of the going face plan and the long term viability of the playing for the board plan. This is everything I always say about this game. Yeah, so look, it's a strong card. It's a really strong card. Worm King's Agent, by the way, in Telvanni. Something you can do. Dark Harvester. Let's say you didn't hit off Prophecy. Mechanar. Goldbrand. I personally don't think this card is tier 1. But I think that this is a strong enough card that you should consider playing it with either new ideas like Waves of the Fallen. I think is a pretty interesting one. You go turn 1 Ungolem, turn 2 Thieves Guild Recruit, turn 3 Blackwood Distiller, turn 4 Waves of the Fallen on that lane. It's pretty good. Requires like a god draw, but it's possible. I think you should play this card for fun. I think it is a strong enough card to make you think more about Ramp Scout and less about Shout Scout, although Shout Scout may still end up being the stronger deck. It definitely deserves your attention. It's a card you should try out, and one that I look forward to brewing with. So, and we're that much closer to Argonian Tribal being a thing, which is something I've begged for a couple years now. So, all right, I hope you enjoy the new card when you get your copies, and I will see you all on the ladder. Bye-bye.